Living in Hawaii isn't the only reason why people from the mainland and across the globe buy real estate here on Oahu. While it's true that Hawaii is one of the most beautiful places in the world to call home, it also has a thriving residential real estate market that provides for great investment opportunities. I'll talk about what you should know and can expect when looking to buy an investment property on Oahu, coming up next. Hi, I'm Scott Startsman with the High Estates team and List Sotheby's International Realty. If you've been looking to invest your hard-earned money somewhere, Oahu may be a great place for you to consider. Before making any investment, it's important to understand the market dynamics, and several factors make these dynamics unique for Oahu. Here are some things you should know and understand about investing in Oahu real estate. First of all, Oahu real estate historically appreciates well. Data from the Honolulu Board of Realtors shows that the median sales price for a single-family home and for a condo on Oahu has increased 596.7% and 467.9% respectively from 1985 through 2022. That's an annual average of 5.24% and 4.72% respectively, compared to the national average of 3.08%. That's a significant difference in appreciation compounded each year. Real estate on Oahu tends to perform very well here, which means the longer you hold the property here on Oahu, the better it tends to perform. The reason for this is that Hawaii is a tiny speck of islands out in the middle of the Pacific with limited land, and we are a global brand with very strong demand for housing, which creates a consistent supply and demand imbalance. We aren't like Phoenix, Arizona, where you can go another mile down the road and build a new subdivision. We're landlocked and only have so much land we can build on. People from not just the mainland but across the globe aspire to buy property here on Oahu, and the internet has made it much easier for them to do much of their due diligence without even setting foot here. This means the barrier of entry is much lower now that you can research everything about Oahu through the internet without having to make a trip here first. We also have strong government regulations on building and developing here on Oahu. To give you some perspective, Hawaii became a state in 1959, and in the 1960s and 1970s, Oahu created on average 14,000 new homes and condos each year. The city and county of Honolulu decided it needed better planning of the building out of the island and imposed a lot more regulations. In doing so, they swung the pendulum the opposite direction now, and we average about 4,000 new homes and condos each year. That doesn't even keep up with the local demand, much less the offshore demand that we have. The shortage of enough units leads to a strong increase in price for those homes and condos that are available, so you can make a good return on your investment simply by buying and holding the property. The second thing to know is that Oahu has lower cap rates or capitalization rates than you will see in many parts of the mainland, especially interior mainland locations like San Antonio or Las Vegas. Cap rates are an assessment of the yield of a property over 1 year. Effectively, it is a snapshot of what the return would be for the property this year if you paid cash for it and rented it out. It is used to do a simple back-of-the-napkin kind of an estimate and compare the rates of return on multiple commercial or residential real estate properties. It can be described in simple terms as the return a property will bring in over 1 year. The formula to calculate cap rates is annual net operating income divided by the property's market value. Net operating income, or NOI, is defined as your income minus your expenses. NOI is simply the income from the property minus the expenses, but keep in mind that when calculating NOI, debt servicing is not included in the expenses. In other words, the expenses don't include the repayments of the loan on the property. For example, if a property is worth $1 million and generates $40,000 of net operating income, it will have a cap rate of 4%. This means that based on the price paid for the property, you can expect around a 4% return as the annual operating cash flow. The third thing to know is that since cap rates are lower, then it takes more of a down payment to break even. That means that if you're looking at buying an investment property here, you should have realistic expectations on what to expect. Don't expect to buy a property for 10 or 20% down and be positive cash flow. If you are using a loan to buy the property, it typically takes 30 to 40% down to break even. When the pandemic hit and interest rates dropped to sub 3%, that was the first time in my career that I found properties that would break even with 20% down. When rates went the other direction and went up to 7%, it was taking 50% down or more to break even with an ARM loan. Fourth thing to know is that Oahu typically has low long-term rental vacancy rates. This boils down to the fact that we have limited supply and global demand. Vacancy rates have been in the 2 to 3% range for over a decade now, and it means landlords don't have to make too many concessions even in a down market. I've had an investment property for over 20 years at the base of Diamond Head, and it has never been vacant for longer than 2 weeks. So if properties are more expensive here on Oahu and the cap rates are lower, why would you buy an investment property here? Well, that leads me to the fifth thing to understand, which is that Oahu's internal rate of return, or IRR, is typically higher than most mainland locations. Because Oahu Real Estate typically has higher appreciation rates than most areas of the mainland, in the long term, the price of the property here rises more than it does on the mainland during that same period of time, and the rental rates follow those appreciation rates. So even though it is more expensive to get in on a property here and the cap rates are lower, the longer you hold on to the property, the better the return you get compared to most other places. If you're buying a property here on Oahu and using a loan to buy the property, I summarize the investment this way. It will cost you more to get into a property here, and it will take more money down to break even than in most places on the mainland. You are deferring current income for future larger income or cash flow, and the overall performance of the property should outperform what you can do somewhere else, putting you in a better wealth position in 10 years than alternative choices elsewhere. If cash flow is the only thing you are interested in, then Oahu may not be the right place for you. I hope this gives you a better understanding of Oahu real estate investments. Let me know your thoughts below. Thanks for watching my video. Once again, I'm Scott Startsman with the High Estates team and List Sotheby's International Realty. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button for more content like this. You can also learn more about Oahu's housing market at highestates.com, and feel free to contact us for all your Oahu real estate needs.